Hello, it's Kendra again, and I have something new for you. So a little bit of backstory on my new series of sorts called Yarn Tales. You know me, I like a good word, as maybe, and the etymology of words and such. But anyways, yarn could be like the fibery stuff we all know and love, and yarns are also stories. Tales also, there are plenty of tales to weave in on all of our projects, but there's also plenty of tales or stories to tell or read or experience. Well, before I took up crocheting, I was an avid reader from once I could read. I just loved reading. And it took up a lot of my time and energy. And I learned to crochet, or I taught myself to crochet, because I was nursing my youngest kid. And he was going through growth spurts and all that, and so there was a lot of time spent sitting in a chair. And with my previous children, I had read during those times. But having two small children running around, I could not focus to read while nursing my third. So I decided I needed to learn to do something else with my hands while I was sitting there. And that was kind of the beginning of the demise of my reading, and for the last 3-ish years, I have not read much at all. In part because reading easily sucks me in, even worse than yarn, to just all I want to do is read instead of be a productive human being. But I have rediscovered this joy and desire to read, and so I'm trying to be a better reader again. And I was trying to think, how could I combine that love of reading and stuff with the love of crocheting and stuff and do a creative joint kind of endeavor? And thus, Yarn Tales is born. I am going to be making myself a shawl in the style of a shawl from Red Heart called Shawl with Slit or something like that. I have made it before, and it was a long shawl, and then at the end it had a slit that almost had a belt buckle in it, and so you would take your ends and then you shove one through the other. And I've made a couple of these as gifts, and I really like it, and I think it would make a nice reading shawl for the winter or to wear while I'm crafting or whatever. But I would like to make one that is uniquely me, and uniquely all those things that have become a part of me with all the things that I'm reading. So my plan is to design myself a shawl. The shawl that I'm kind of basing the sizing and things and the concept off of was 14 inches wide and 80 inches long. And I want mine a little bit wider, so I'm going to aim for 16 inches and however long seems appropriate. And as I get toward the other end, I will then deal with the slit section, but for now, I'm going to begin just the solid piece. So my thought is that every book that I read, either via text or read, via audiobook on my phone, I will make a section of this shawl. So it will be a striped kind of sampler shawl using different stitches and different yarns and different colors that each piece will then remind me of one of these books that I've experienced. I am going to start my shawl with the book that I just finished this week called Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. And I listened to this book as an audiobook, and I love the cover, but I'm not going to be inspired by the cover. Instead, I'm going to begin my shawl with a black edge piece, and I'm going to use black because the main female lead in the book, her name is Nadia, and she wears black robes. And so to kind of signify that, I'm going to use black. I am also going to try and design some stitch work that reminds me of doors, because the book Exit West is a story of refugees and an interesting way of looking at it, and this idea of escaping through these doors that appear. So I'm going to try and mimic a bit of doors in the shawl design I come up with. So now I'm just going to take a few minutes here, sit down with my composition book, my pen, and my trusty stitch dictionary. This is the Indispensable Stitch Collection for Crocheters by Melissa Leapman. 200 Stitch Designs in Words and Symbols. I got this from Joanne a while ago. I really like this book. It's good. The pictures are very nice. It helps to provide inspiration for me, and I probably look at the pictures more than I briefly read the descriptions, but there are pictures, charts, and worded descriptions for all the different stitches. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go through there and see what I come up with to begin my yarn tail shawl. Okay, so I think that I have a bit of a plan. It's a little crazy, but I'm going to start with foundation single crochet, and I'm going to do that till I reach my 16-inch target. And then I'm going to do an alternate front and back loop half double crochet to symbolize the turbulent times. I'm probably going to do about 3 rows of that. And then I'm going to do a section of eyeletting using double crochet, where I'm going to figure out the math once I know how many foundation single crochets I have. But I'm going to work through and leave, like do a couple of stitches on the edge that are double crochet, then chain, leaving a gap, make a 3-stitch door basically, then leave a 3-stitch chain and gap and go that way across, and then again on the end do some stitching. So I'm going to do 3 segments to kind of show the 3 transitions that the main characters of the book took, and the movements that they made from place to place. So I'm going to cover that, and then it will just leave it open for the next book to come right up against it and make more. So now I'm going to go and hook this up, and I will let you see the end results. And here is the end result of the first part of my yarn tail shawl, my part for Exit West. So like I said, I started off with a foundation single crochet at 16 inches. I then moved into a section with 3 rows of alternating half double crochets. I have this section where I did 2 double crochets and then a chain 3 space, and then 3 double crochets, chain 3 space, and then I did the opposite on the next row and the opposite on the third. And then I decided to finish off this edge by running a row of single crochet where I put 1 in each stitch and then 3 in each chain 3 space, just to give me a nice, like, it'll make a nice black edge along what butts up next to it, which I think is going to be a bright color. So it's going to look more finished, I think, this way. So I'm very happy. I made this out of Red Heart with Love in the color black, and I used a J hook. I just went ahead and used this yarn because it was like some of the only plain black yarn I had on hand, which is kind of funny. I like black yarn. It's a pain to work with sometimes, but the With Love was very pleasant. So that is it for this week. Check back next Thursday to see what I've been reading and what kind of yarn tails I'm adding. On the screen next to me, you will see a link to the playlist where I make Monday videos in case you've missed any of my weekly crochet podcast. There's also a link to my Etsy shop if you'd like to go check that out, and you can help support me so I keep making fun, free, crafty content, and come back every day in beta. There will be a new video every day here at Hooked by Happenstance. See you next time. Bye!